Sometimes it feels like the sun will never rise, like the birds will never sing again. Believe in a power greater than what you are going through. When you don't know what to do, keep breathing.
That's right. When you don't know what to do, just keep on breathing. From the City of Angels in Los Angeles, welcome to all my listeners out there in Radio Land. I'm Dave, the Caregiver's Caregiver, at caregiverdave.com, along with my lovely co-host, Debbie Peterson, best-selling author. And we are coming to you live and on demand 24/7 on numerous syndicated radio and podcast networks on 30, count them, 30 global audio video platforms. I'm not even going to mention them like iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker, SoundCloud. There's too many, and I don't have enough breath in my lungs. But in fact, we are proud to be voted #1 caregiver podcast on FeedSpot out of thousands, and #1 caregiver podcast on Player FM out of the top 50. And we have an especially exciting show planned for you today. Karen Robbins has devoted her life to children as an elementary school teacher. Romper Room, yes, she was the Romper Room lady. She's a teacher, mother of 4 sons, award-winning children's author and publisher. She's invented books and toys, designed them, and she's got U.S. patents. I mean, I can't say enough about this woman. She's amazing. She holds a master's in education from University of Puget Sound and has written over 50 magazine articles, including Family Fun and Parents. She has over 300,000 copies of her books worldwide. Wow. Before we meet Karen, I do want to take this moment to thank my last week's guest, Annie McCune. Caregiving can be isolating and lonely, but can genuine hospitality help? She's the queen of hospitality. And just a reminder, you can watch or listen to that show and all our shows, as well as the show we're doing right now, on our 30 global networks that I mentioned earlier. Okay, enough of that. Karen, welcome to the Caregiver Dave Show. We're so excited to have you on.
Thank you so much for inviting me today. I'm just thrilled to be here.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. And I always like to ask my guests just who is Karen Robbins and why was she placed on this earth?
Who is Karen Robbins? Oh.
That's the question.
Well, you read off quite a lengthy bio.
Why was she placed on God's green earth?
Oh, boy. You know, I didn't really discover my gift. And I think that's one of the most important things you ever discover is your special gift that you've been given to serve in a special way. And I knew when I was 4 years old in preschool that I loved drawing with my crayons and just loved drawing and loved color and all. But I never really thought about becoming an artist or a designer. And I never even thought about becoming an author. And here I now. I've had an amazing journey I've been writing for maybe 40 years and have like 300,000 copies of books in the print. And to think, I even got a D in English 101, my first quarter at the University of Washington.
What do they know?
And here now I'm an award-winning children's author, and he gave me a D in English 101. But yes, and I discovered that I loved art when I got to the University of Washington and started getting easy A's, and so I just loved design and drawing and painting, and yet I really, I just continued with that and became a elementary school teacher and taught first grade and kindergarten. And then I really wanted to make a really big impact on children's lives. I just really love children. And as a teacher, I could only really probably have maybe 25 or 32 children in my classroom. And so at that time, a lot of people were going into the Peace Corps, but I didn't think that was my calling. But I had done some research and on children's television programs when I was at the University of Washington. And I had done this research, and I was connected to Miss Margaret in Tacoma, Washington, who was the teacher for Romper Room in Tacoma. And I love the story about Romper Room. It was created by Bert and Nancy Claster in Baltimore, Maryland in 1953. And they thought it would be fun to have a little school, on television for, children 4 and 5. You had to be 4 or 5 years old. And then to teach them numbers and, counting and letters and play physical games and things like that. And so they started it, and everyone, all these other cities and stations, saw it, and they thought, well, we want it in our city too. How can we do it? And here are the Clasters. They just thought about doing this in Baltimore, Maryland, but it ended up where they franchised it out to all these other cities and all around the United States, and then it went all around the world. And it's just such an amazing story. It was the first educational television program for children in 1953, and it lasted and was on air until 1994. So it's amazing. Sometimes you might have a recipe. I mean, I think it's a good recipe. I think it was Colonel Saunders. He had the chicken recipe, and I think he traveled around in his car, and I think he pitched his chicken recipe for, I don't know, over 100, maybe 200 companies there. And then finally he sold it and became Colonel Saunders of fried chicken. So I just think it's, yeah. And so, I've been creating my whole life, and it's been an amazing journey. And beyond anything I even imagined, and I have a kind of a vivid imagination. So, and I am very creative. I'm a right brain creative. I mean, I'm terrible in science, geography, in literature, a lot of things, but I've just been an expert where I love children, mostly 6 and under, babies, toddlers, preschoolers, and beginning readers. They're my love.
Well, you have great grandchildren and grandchildren.
Yeah, I do have grandchildren, and I loved sharing a lot of my crafts with them. I've actually created a children's board game, and I'm hoping to find a buyer real soon. And my grandchildren used to play it over and over and over again when they were like, maybe 5 and 7. And now they're in college, and they keep saying, Grandma Karen, you have to sell Monkey House.
Well, I have great grandchildren. I'm 70, and I'm interested in that game, and I'm sure our audience would be, because I had you on the show because caregivers, are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Can you imagine an 80-year-old taking care of a 100-year-old? But it happens. And everyone has children, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, and they're a great addition to the caregiving activities that are done, especially if you have dementia. In the nursing homes, they'll bring just a bunch of little kids in, and these dementia patients who you think their lights are out and nobody's home, all of a sudden they come to life,
Yeah.
So, we'll make sure to help everybody how they can get a board game. I'm looking at the picture behind you. That's you. It's the black and white Romper Room, and I remember the be a doobie and don't be a don't be or something.
That's right.
Great.
And Romper Stompers, and I see you in my magic mirror. And
I don't know why they don't have Romper Room today.
I know. I really wish someone would bring it back.
Even Mr. Rogers is gone.
I know.
And he was amazing as well, I'm sure.
He was. Yeah, the young children are really missing out right now because we lost Mr. Rogers, and then we lost Romper Room too. So, but there's other good things. I mean, boy, Sesame Street has been wonderful for.
The other thing, Dave, is that I think most of us, any of us who are in the caregive-e or the caregiver generation, I think all of us were exposed to Romper Room. And so I'm wondering then, how did you begin your writing career? How did that happen?
Well, goodness, after I had my 4 sons and they entered, elementary school, and the last boys were twin boys. And so I had completed a master's degree in early childhood education and actually taught a couple classes over at the university. But then we had the 4 children, and my husband, he traveled a lot, and he just didn't think I could go back to teaching. And And so, because of his schedules and all, and that I had to be the full-time homemaker and run, be the executive, making sure the kids got to their appointments and all of that. So, but then I thought, I was busy and got the housework done and the laundry and I was on about 3 different boards. I was volunteering at the hospital, the church, and at the school. But anyway, I like giving and serving. And so one day I was reading, books to my boys all the time because I just, I'm an educator and believe in promoting literacy. But 3 of my 4 sons are dyslexic. And so that was really challenging while they were very young. So I have a real heart for children with special needs. And so anyway, I would be reading, 5, 8 books a night. But they really didn't like books. They were having difficulty reading and writing and spelling. And so, but they all became very, very successful. And I'm really, really proud of them and their accomplishments. But it was very difficult. And so I would be reading these stories and I think, gosh, this book isn't that funny. I mean, I think I could write something funnier, and what's the message? I think, books, I think they cost about $50,000 or something to publish a book. And it seems like it should have a message or something really, a valuable lesson to learn or something. So that's what my brain, I have a very creative brain. And so anyway, I just started writing. I thought, well, I want to go to how do you do this? How do you submit a manuscript? So I went to some writing conferences and then I thought, well, let's start out with magazines because, I'm a holiday craft person. I love crafts and so I thought, well, that's fun. And my kids love them. My friends, neighbors, they love my decorations. So I started with crafts and submitted to Christian magazines and then Jack and Jill and Humpty Dumpty. And that was my very first publication was in Humpty Dumpty magazine. And, they paid me $25, but they gave me my first start. And, I thought, oh, they like that. Well, hey, I've got 10 more ideas. I guess I'll just keep submitting. And that's how I started. I started in the magazine market, but I can make a race car that you can eat. So you probably wonder how I can make a race car that kids can eat.
Well, I'm sure you'll tell us. I'm just thinking here. I'll bet you I can find episodes of Romper Room on YouTube or something.
Yes, you can. People have done that.
Because I got to go down memory lane here. I'm looking at the back of the box and everything, and wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's
it's
how
been
you
who
began
I
your writing
am.
career, huh? That's how you began your writing career.
Yeah, started out in magazines and going to writing conferences and joining the Society of Children Book Writers and Illustrators. And
How old were you?
how old was I? In my 40s.
Okay.
So I've been writing for about 40 years. And then I started in doing things for the flat fee too. And so I was wanting to build up my writing credits but it's been an amazing journey. I've gone to LA and New York and gone to Random House, Simon & Schuster, Innovative Kids, Workman. I did, work for hire for Discovery Toys. I created 2 different toys for them. So it was just always was part-time. And I was just always creating, so I'd get my work done but there's a lot of rejection. I don't know, Dave, if you know, you're a published author, you're an award-winning author. What am I talking?
4 times. So yeah, I know that.
But I've heard that editors reject 97% of everything they
He
get.
rejected Jack Canfield. That's why he.
I know it. Yeah. And I studied under Jack Canfield in Steve Harrison's program. It was awesome. And Jack said, Karen, he said, you're a createaholic. And I said, yeah, I think I am, Jack. And he said, you're like a Martha Stewart for kids. And so, because I do love crafts for kids and holidays and all of that. So did you want me to share any of my books or some of my crafts that maybe some of the caregivers?
I want to encourage caregivers that caregiving is a very stressful job. 30% of them die before their loved ones do. Many more become sicker than the one they're caring for, eventually needing a caregiver of their own. And it would be so easy for them to just bring over a child, a grandchild, a great grandchild, and just let that be the buffer between them and their loved one, because
Right.
just their mere presence just lights up a room and lights up, it just changes the whole atmosphere.
That's right, it does.
Share whatever you think you would recommend that caregivers do to help, and you're helping the kids at the same time because they're learning,
Yes,
oh, this is how you treat older family members when they need help. You don't just throw them in a nursing home.
exactly.
Well,
That's
share what you will.
okay. Well, that's very, very important modeling that the caregivers are giving to grandchildren and great grandchildren, and include them
Yeah.
in helping.
That's by the way, let me just throw this in. That's China's problem. Remember, for decades they had a one-child rule, and they thought they were, because there's so many people, a billion people in China, how are we going to feed all these people? Well, I mean, it sounded good on paper, but as these children got older, they realized that one child wasn't enough to take care of them, and now the government has the burden to take care of their elderly population. So now they changed their whole philosophy. You have as many kids as you want because we need caregivers.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, about writing, and I think I discovered that because it was challenging to be, the mother of four sons and six of us in our family, and trying to be a super mom and, getting burned out and running everyone through all their activities and lessons and everything. But I started writing them, but my writing turned out to be therapy for me, for my mental health. And I don't know if many of your caregivers are journaling, but are writing poetry, are writing the story, and trying to record this journey to pass on to the children and grandchildren. And I really found that my writing has been my therapy.
Mm.
And my creating, holiday craft items that I was for decorations and things.
Yeah.
Yes,
Get
I would
everybody involved
encourage her.
and
I
get everyone
really,
involved in doing the crafts, the child and the loved one, and especially with the holidays coming around, right?
exactly. Well, for Christmas, I have a real unique design here, uh, and it's a no paste paper chain. Oops, is
Keep it
it
in
better
front of
this
you.
way?
There you go.
Okay, can you see this?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Okay, it's a no paste paper chain, and all you do is you just cut out like about 3 by 5 paper,
Uh-huh.
and then you fold it like this,
Uh-huh.
and you make a letter U, and you take your scissors and just cut this out. And then it's an interlocking chain, and so then you just put it through here,
Ah.
and it's a link. And so there's no pasting involved, and so it's very fun and very unique to make a Christmas chain.
Ah, you can put around the tree.
Yeah, or you could have it for the child's by the child's bed,
Mhm.
and then you take off a link each day before Christmas, and they can count then to see how many days there are left to be until it's going to be Christmas time.
That could help a dementia patient as well, by the way.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. So I thought it'd be fun to share this
Yeah.
unique Christmas chain. And this is a real easy way to make a pumpkin. And you just take a circle of any fabric. This is kind of a fuzzy fabric, and this is one of the minky fabric.
Uh-huh.
And you just cut a circle any size that you want, small or large, and then you do a basting stitch around the outside edge. And I used dental floss I thread dental floss because it will not break. Sometimes if you do with a thread and a needle,
Right.
you almost get around and you're pulling it together and then it breaks and you have to start all over again. But I learned by my lesson that dental floss will not break. So using dental floss through a needle and do a little basting stitch around, and then you pull it up tight, and then you just get a little stick from the woods or on a walk and put the little stick in for the stem of the pumpkin. And before that, I stuff it with grocery bags, plastic grocery bags that you might be recycling. So they're very soft, and so I just use those for the stuffing. So it's very easy, very quick to make, and children love making them. And it's a nice little gift to give to someone, and inexpensive and quick to make.
This
So
is
those
great
are
because so many people, well, I don't know what to do. It's boring. We're just watching TV all the time. Just act like your loved one is uh, someone in Romper Room, and we're going to do some crafts today. And
right.
it's going to be kids again. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Oh, I know. And kids, I mean, I believe that you can cut and paste and um, it's an escape. It has been an escape for me to write and to create.
Have you
And
done a book yet explaining all these crafts and how to do it with pictures
yes,
and diagrams? Oh, great.
yes, I sold my year-round holiday craft book to a publisher, an educational publisher,
Wow.
and it ended up selling 116,000 copies or more.
You are Martha Stewart.
Yeah, and it has all these holiday crafts for throughout the whole year. I did that book for a flat fee, so I did, but that's okay. I wanted to just help teachers and children have
Give back.
fun crafting for the holidays. But this, Dave, is one of my new books, and it's Shoe Print Art Step into Drawing.
Wow.
And I came up with this idea, I don't know, 30 years ago, and I've been teaching children how to draw anything from a shoe print shape. And this book, it's won 6 awards, and I'm so proud of it. And it actually won the Benjamin Franklin Gold Medal Award from Independent Book Publishers as for a publisher's first book. And this was my first experience from being an author. This was my first experience being a publisher. But I had children from all across America do a drawing. And I think that's why it won the prize, because I had children from
Yeah.
4 to 14 do a drawing, and we scanned their picture and we put it on each page, and then we put just their first name and their age, so they were 4 or they were 7 or 12. And so other children now, in looking at the book, they can see, oh well, this child was 8 years
Right.
old, and well, and but it allows children to be very creative, and all children must learn to develop their small hand coordination
Right.
and their hand-eye coordination, but their small dexterity skills. So they need lots of practice. And this is good for everybody, I mean, any age to draw. And so I would challenge your viewers to take off their shoe. There's a template in the book to use the template, but the whole concept is the same. So take off your shoe and draw around it, with a pencil on a piece of paper, and then decide if it, what you want to make. Now you can make dinosaurs, monsters, uh, um, Santa Claus or a turkey or almost anything, even transportation. We have a helicopter, an airplane, a spaceship, and lots of animals, dogs and cats. A monkey. I mean, just think what you want to make. And so, well, then you have to first decide, is it horizontal or is it vertical? So you decide, if you're going to be making a dinosaur, then maybe it should be horizontal. And then the book shows 4 little steps to draw with pencil first. And so they just go step by step. And then they can make all these wonderful, there's 55 images in this book, Shoe Print Art Step into Drawing. 55 items to make all from a shoe print shape. So I challenge all of you, take off your shoe, take a pencil and draw around your shoe on a piece of paper and look at it and just, you don't have the steps, but just imagine, okay, I'm going to make a horse. Well, okay, it needs 4 legs, it needs a tail, it needs a neck and a head and some ears. But if you start with that, that's the first step. And there was an artist friend of mine. He's a big top illustrator of children's books. And when he saw my idea about shoe print art, he said, Karen, that's just like me. I always start with a peanut shape.
And I remember they would do the hand, which would make it a turkey.
Yes,
like
and that makes the turkey. I'd like
Have you
to
have any
share.
questions that want to direct toward Miss Romper Room?
So here's a little whale. It's here again with the shoe print shape. You can make, this is a little stick puppet, and there's stick puppets in the back of the book and greeting cards. Greeting cards are so expensive. And so, my goodness, I know that the care receivers would love to have a greeting card made from their grandchild or great grandchild and something, and they'd probably keep it forever. It's always nice. So there's in the shoe print art book, there's a whole lessons on making greeting cards and then stick puppets. So yeah. So anyway, and I just think whether you're working with drawing, or Play-Doh or crayons and coloring, it's all helpful because it relaxes the brain, and we all need that in this mental health crisis that we're experiencing. We need to relax our brain and escape and create and have fun, maybe even put some music on and just let the music, help us just relax more
Sure.
and rid our stress.
2 big holidays coming, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Debbie, you have anything you want to throw in there?
Well, I'm curious if you've been writing other books as well. You've talked about lots of art books. Have you written other kinds of books too?
And how many books have you written?
Oh my gosh. Well, let's say, I don't know, I think I've written 23 books, but because I'm an educator and a lover of young children, I want them to be smart and I want them to have a healthy self-esteem, just like Jack Canfield wants us all to have a healthy self-esteem. And they have confidence. And, the first 5 years of a child's life are the most important years. So I have developed these think books, and Schiffer Books back in Pennsylvania published all 5 of them. And they've been so popular. Kids just love them. They're kind of like a guessing game. They want to play the guessing game. And then when they know the answer, they feel so smart. They're so happy. They just cheer, But these books are called Think Farm Animals, Think Zoo Animals, and Think Circles, Think Triangles, and Think Squares. And so you first have a little lift the flap but a die cut. And you first listen with your ears to the clue. Someone reads the clue. And then you look with your eyes at the die cut shape. And then you think with your brain, what can it be? And you say, oh, it's a horse, or it's a pig, or it's a goose. And then you turn to see, and then the art is there. So it's a very fun way to educate and entertain children and to build their self-confidence. So that's for babies, toddlers, and preschoolers. And then, as I mentioned, about having a real heart for people with reading. This is a special book. It's called I Can Count. And it's a very special book because it's a shared reader. One person reads the aardvark. The aardvark reads one sentence, and then the mouse reads the other. So this is two siblings can read it together. A mother or father or grandparent can read it with the child. So one is the aardvark.
3-year-old, it's perfect for her.
And one is the mouse. And the sentences are very short. There's only kindergarten and first grade words in the whole book. And there's lots of repetition. So it kind of goes like this. I can count. You can count? Yes, I can count. How far can you count? I can count to 100. You can count to 100? Yes. No, you can't. Yes, I can. I can even count to 100 faster than you. You can count to 100 faster than me? Yes, I can. Well, let's see if you can count to 100 faster than me. This clock will time you. I'll say 1, 2, 3, go, and then you start. Okay, I'm ready to count. 1, 2, 3, go. And then aardvark reads 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to 100. See, I can count to 100. Yes, you can count to 100. Good job. What was my time? He's exhausted. Your time was 2 minutes. Well, now it's your turn. Let's see if you can count to 100. Will you be sad if I can count to 100 faster than you? No, I will not be sad. Okay, I'm ready to count to 100. Say 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I did it. I counted to 100. What was my time? Your time was 10 seconds. 10 seconds is less than 2 minutes. You won. You counted to 100 faster than me. We both counted to 100. You counted by ones and I counted by 10. We are both smart. Counting is fun. I like counting. Yes, counting is fun. I like counting too. Think we can count by twos or count by fives? Yes, yes, let's try.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's wonderful.
but you're getting a lesson in reading, learning to read, and you're getting a lesson in math and counting too. So
They should make you Department of Education in the new Trump administration. Send them a letter.
yeah, I don't know. I would
Fly to West Palm Beach and see if they'll talk to you.
okay. But
A real
yes,
educator, you know?
I wrote a beautiful book. You asked Debbie what other books I read. I wrote a beautiful book. It was called Care for Our World, and it was published by Compendium. And it sold over 50,000 copies, and it was all written in rhyme. And it was about being kind and caring of all living things. And it was an environmental book. And our world needs that book so badly. And so I was really proud, very, very proud of that book. And it won quite a few awards too. But I have a new book out, but I actually wrote it first for my 4 sons when they were just toddlers.
Never
And
published.
and I thought, I have files of manuscripts, and I've gotten so old now, and I'm like, well, what can I do next? What do I need to get out?
Three lifetimes, huh?
Yeah. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I have to get this book out for my sons because I put it on the refrigerator whenever my husband and I would travel, just in case there was an accident. I never came back. I wanted to let them know that I love them more than candy pops. So, but it's beautifully illustrated by Rachel Downey. She's illustrated 5 of my books, and she illustrated the Aardvark on Mouse I Can Count. She illustrated that one too, and the Think Books Farm and Sue. She's just a talented illustrator. So anyway, here is my book. I love you more than candy pop. And on the back, it says, have fun hunting for hidden hearts on each page. How many hearts can you find? And so it's a search and find book, along with being a child's first book of love. And so I'm so proud of this book. And I just, with the holidays coming, you can't buy love. You give love, you show love. And we all need love. We all want to be loved. We all want to love someone and be loved. And children learn they want to be loved. They need to know that they're loved. But they learn how to love by observing and seeing others, loving. And also even loving, a cat, a kitten, a cat, or a dog or puppy. They are they're loving this animal and caring for it and hugging it they're experiencing a first time of love. But this book, I thought, okay, I want everyone to be able to relate to this book. And so I wanted it to all be animals because no matter what color your skin, everyone, parents and children, will be able to feel loved. So this one first says, I love you more than dogs love treats.
That's a lot.
And there's hidden hearts everywhere on the pages. And it's so much fun to look at all of them. And my illustrator put all of them in. And I love you more than crabs love crawling. And I love you more than bears love honey. And I love you more than penguins love ice. I love you more than kangaroos love hopping. I love you more than horses love galloping. It's such an, oh, look at this. I love you more than kittens love napping.
Yeah.
And so I would just love for everyone to get this book and read it, 5, 10 times a day. Read it to everyone and everyone you love and let them know that you love them. And I think that's the best gift to give anyone is your time and your love for the person you love.
You're so right. You are amazing. I mean, you've exceeded my expectations, and I can't believe how fast this time has gone today. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Debbie. Is there anything else that we wanted to ask her before she leaves? Debbie, can you hear me? Hello. What happened?
I had to turn off my microphone because I was coughing. I'm
Oh,
getting over a cold, and I want to know how I find these books to give to my family members.
Oh, thank you
we
for
have a couple customers
asking.
right here.
Well, all my books are on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and any independent local bookstore too. They can order them. And I'm on Ingram Sparks, but I don't sell my books off of my website, but any bookstore would be able to order them. And thank you for asking. I did want to mention my website is KarenSRobinsAuthor.com, and you can see my whole life history there. I was Mrs. Claus, and I actually read stories to children when I was 17 years old. There was a new radio station in town, and I thought, gosh, I wonder if they'd like me to read stories, Christmas stories, a couple Saturdays before Christmas. And well, I guess my mother said, well, that's a good idea, Karen. We'll just go over and ask them and see. So I went over and asked if they would like me to read some Christmas stories on Saturday morning, and they said that's a really great idea. We'd like that to happen. And so they would play a little music, and then I read some Christmas stories, and then they asked me to be Mrs. Claus in the downtown Santa Claus parade. And so you'll see a picture of me as Mrs. Claus. And I actually took Polaroid pictures in a storefront for on Saturdays too, to take the pictures of the children. And I've been Kermit the Frog. I've been a clown. I was an ice cream lady for my summer job, and I think we're like 11 for $1. And that's 11 ice cream bars or popsicles for $1. One is about $4.50 now. But I was this ice cream lady. And I just love, in my whole life, it's been entertaining and educating children. So I'm thank you so much for inviting me to share some of my life and my books and my crafts with your viewers. I'm very honored.
I'm feeling so warm and fuzzy on the inside. I love you.
Thank you. I do see all your viewers in my magic mirror.
Well, that's great. Thank you for telling us how we can get a hold of you and your website and how we get your books. I think I'm going to have trouble trying to decide which books or all of them to purchase because I could just see those stories resonating with my 4-year-old great grandchild, and I'm
Oh, great.
to go get them.
Great. And if you do, please write a review. Reviews help so much. You know that, Dave, and that's wonderful. And I wish everyone the happiest of holidays and the best wishes to the caregivers and everyone. And thank you for this fabulous show going worldwide. When I read about it, I think, oh my goodness, all over the United States and all these other countries. And oh, that's just so incredible to be touching these lives and helping them to take care of themselves and get 8 hours of sleep, hopefully, and eat properly. And yeah, it's a very, very big job.
Thank you so much for recommending my book to your son, and make sure he writes a review as well.
I will. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, Debbie, how can our listeners reach you and find out everything that you do that's so important to our government and our country and caregivers too, I guess?
You can go to mayordebbie.com, and I have a book called Local Impact. You Can Make a Difference. So we're on a really positive roll today. If you want to help someone understand how to get involved in their local government, go to Amazon, look for the Debbie Peterson Integrity 101 series.
Cool. And I'm at caregiverdave.com. And again, reminder, all our live shows become recorded and pod and video cast on all our platforms mentioned before. And also my membership website, caregiverdave.com, has free membership support community with lots of free gifts and resources, including a free initial coaching session, and my Facebook page, Caregiver Dave. And please click the like or follow button or the subscribe button on whatever platform you're watching or listening it on. It helps us reach even more people, caregivers actually, by improving Google's search engine algorithm. So again, to my guests today, thank you. And to all my listeners, thank you again for tuning in each and every week and making us the #1 caregiver podcast on the internet. So until next week, same time, same channel, God richly bless you all. Thank you again, guys.